The 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs are finally here, and today I'm going to be simulating it in NHL 25. The matchups look like this. In the West, we got Vegas versus Minnesota, LA versus Edmonton v4, Dallas and Colorado, and then finally Winnipeg and St. Louis. Out East, we got the Battle of Florida between the Lightning and the Panthers, the Battle of Ontario versus Toronto and Ottawa, the Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens, and then finally we got Carolina versus the New Jersey Devils. Best of 7, 4 rounds to win Lord Stanley. So Minnesota right now, low-key is kind of upsetting Vegas. They're up 2-1 in the series, but down 4-0 after the first period. Second period, 6-1. An absolute good old-fashioned ass-beating by Vegas. 7-2 over Minnesota, and they tie the series up. Surprisingly, the first team on the brink of elimination is Florida. They're down 3-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. Up 1-0 after the first period, thanks to their captain, Sasha Barkov. Second period, they are leading 3-0. Barkov has a hat trick in the game. Holy shit, an absolute carry job. Jake Guentzel gets Tampa Bay on the board, but they are still down by a pair here in the third period. Shots are pretty even. Oh, there it is. Nick Paul makes it a 1-goal game on Sergei Bobrovsky. Bob is a little bit too old to be carrying Florida right now. 5 minutes remaining. Shots are 32. There it is. Sam Reinhart on Andrei Vasilevsky. And the Florida Panthers will not be swept after winning the Stanley Cup. No surprise here as the Capitals are up 3-0 on the Montreal Canadiens. They are a second wildcard team for a reason, but it's a close game. 2-1 in the third period for Washington. They got Taylor Radish scoring, Matt Roy, and Josh Anderson has the lone goal for Les Montreal. As I mean, they're just happy to be here. Tom Wilson's going to add insult to injury, and it looks like Montreal most likely will probably end up being eliminated in the first round in a 4-game sweep. Here we are in the Bell Center for game number 4. Washington leading 3-1 in the game, 3-0 in the series. Not a lot of time remaining, as I mean, the Capitals are the odds-on favorite for this series. Oh my, was that Alexei Protas with the absolute bomb of a snapshot? Logan Thompson, stay in your net, buddy. Less than a minute to go. I mean, Montreal, let's go Montreal. Here we go. Full attack, full forecheck. Let's try to get them some offense right now. Patty Laine laying the body. All right, no, go back in your net. Here we go. Pull the goalie. 2-goal lead for Washington. We're going to see what we can do. Alexander Ovechkin. He's got an empty net to shoot at. Can he sink it? Ovi, go after the puck. Oh my, Alexander Ovechkin is just destroying the Capitals right now. Josh Anderson, though, leading the rush over. Carrier shooting. Nice save by Thompson. 24 remaining in regulation. The Habs are still down by 2. It is looking very bleak for them. Alexei Protas tries to backhand it on the empty net, but couldn't get it to go. Captain Suzuki leads it out for Montreal, blasting one away, and Thompson is forced to make the save yet again. 5 seconds remaining here in the third period, as the Capitals are the first team to move on to round number 2, as they're going to end up sweeping Montreal in the first round of the playoffs. The Jets trying to copy the homework of the Washington Capitals. Obviously, the last 2 years have not gone their way in the first round. Gabe Vilardi has the lone goal in the third period. They are 1 win away from sweeping St. Louis in the first round. I do not think this is going to be a 4-game sweep. Also, I don't think I'm going to be watching a single second of this series between Winnipeg and St. Louis. Nonetheless, a 1-goal game here in the late stages of the third. Here we go. 1:30 remaining in the third period of game number 4. St. Louis's season is on the line. They got to go all out. Josh Morrissey over to Nikolai Ehlers. What is going on? I'm also curious to see how well playoff Hellebuck plays. Not really known for being a great playoff goalie, but he does have 3 Vezinas. Well, 2 Vezinas. Better be 3 to his name. Shen over to Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou shooting, and Hellebuck will glove that down with 44 left to go. 44 seconds to go. Offensive zone draw here in St. Louis. The home crowd does not want to get swept right now, but I mean, Winnipeg, President's Trophy winners, had a great regular season. They are the heavy favorites in round number 1. Josh Morrissey dumps it in deep, just playing it smart here. Trying to wind down that clock. Nice forecheck by Mark Scheifele, just banging bodies in the corner right now. Scheifele's on a mission, dude. He's bringing back that 2021 playoff run where he killed Jake Evans. Thomas over. Philo Broberg. What a save by Hellebuck with 15 seconds to spare. Can they hold on to the lead? The Winnipeg Jets are 11 seconds away from moving on to round 2. Scheifele to Morrissey. Binnington makes the save. Too little, too late, as Winnipeg will shut out the St. Louis Blues in Game 4 and they're going to end up sweeping them to advance to round number 2. Toronto right now is leading 3-0 in their series also. 1-0 lead after one. Austin Matthews, a power play goal. Second period, up 2-1. Willie will chip in as Ottawa does not want to get swept by their arch rivals right now. This would be hilarious. Oh my God. Matthews again on Linus Ullmark makes it a 2-goal game. And the Senators, after winning every regular season game against Toronto this season, they are really going to go out and get swept, not win a single playoff game against them. All right, 21 seconds to go. It is a 4-2 hockey game. The Leafs look like they got this one in the bag. They're leading 3-0 in the series, 4-2 in the game. And they are going to absolutely dominate the Ottawa Senators, who dominated them in the regular season. Fair play, just like Vancouver did to Edmonton last year. And the Leafs now with a goaltender and Anthony Stolarz are going to dominate the first round. And they're going to be moving on to round number 2 after a clean sweep in the Battle of Ontario. The Lightning trying to close out their series against Florida here on home ice in Game 5, but they're trailing 2-0 after the first period. Second period, 4-1, and the Florida Panthers, the reigning defending Cup champs, are going to live to fight another day as they have forced a Game 6. New Jersey versus Carolina might be the most uninteresting series of the entire first round. The Devils are just so injured, man. I don't think it's really going to be competitive. Right now in the sim, Carolina's up 3-1. I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up sweeping them. But the simulation has a healthy New Jersey team, so it's a little bit different than what's going to be going down in real life. Nonetheless, 7 minutes to go. We got a 1-1 tie here in game number 5. Late stages of the third period. We do not have a goal. We got overtime on our hands. The first OT of the entire playoff run is between New Jersey and Carolina. The Devils trying to force a Game 6 back on home ice. Carolina is trying to move on to the second round yet again. Andrei Svechnikov coming in. Svechnikov over. Oh, and Jacob Markstrom will make the nice glove save. Aho loses that draw on the offense. Does that say 51 shots on goal for Carolina? Holy shit, they cannot score a goddamn goal. They have 1 goal on 51 shots. That means Markstrom has a 50-save playoff game. That is absolutely insane. It is a one-man carry job right now by Markstrom for the Devils. Chatfield coming in the zone. Waiting. He's going to fire one away. Nice save again by Markstrom. Just putting on a historic playoff performance over to Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes leading the rush. Hughes giving over. Hischier coming in. Can't even get a shot on net. All right. It is a back and forth overtime thus far. Kotkaniemi goes offside on himself. 13:30 left to go here in overtime. Glass moves it over to Jesper Bratt. Coming in the zone. Bratt waiting, firing, and there it is. The New Jersey Devils will force a Game 6 back on home ice thanks to Jesper Bratt. The Carolina Hurricanes just lost a hockey game in the playoffs 2-1 after putting 52 shots on goal. Minnesota right now is trying to upset the Vegas Golden Cheaters. Up 3-2 in their series. They get a 2-0 lead entering the third period on home ice. I mean, all signs are pointing towards a second round. There it is. Freddie Gaudreau makes it a 3-goal game. And I think we can all say and all agree that we're going to be cheering as the Minnesota Wild have beat Vegas in round number 1. The Stars trying to close the show with Colorado in round 1. First period, a 1-1 tie. Duchesne and Kelly. Second period, Coyle and Dumba. It is a tie game. Colorado trying to force a Game 7 back in Dallas. For the Stars on the road right now. They got Miro Heiskanen, which, I mean, in real life, I don't think he's going to play in round number 1, as Nathan McKinnon will take the lead for Colorado. And then Val Nichushkin, hookers and blow, will make it a 2-goal game. 3 minutes to go in the late stages of the third, and we are indeed going to have a Game 7 on our hands. Tampa Bay was up 3-0 over Florida, lost 2 consecutive games. They're up 2-1 after the first period. Second period, a 4-1 lead, as it looks like Florida will not be going back-to-back, as the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to go ahead. They are going to dominate them in Game 6 and eliminate them from the playoffs. The Oilers are trying to force a Game 7 against the LA Kings. They are on home ice right now, entering the third period, though they are trailing 4-1, as it's not looking too great for my Oilers. Not simulating well whatsoever. They are down 4-1 in the third, and the LA Kings, for the first time in 4 years, 3 straight losses in the first round to Edmonton. They finally get their revenge, and they are off to round number 2. The Hurricanes right now low-key are fading. They are choking to a New Jersey Devils squad that honestly shouldn't be on their level. Luckily, they got a 2-1 advantage in the third period. Jacob Markstrom is not. Okay, Curtis Lazar in the big 2025. And then Curtis Lazar again, a 2-goal third period for New Jersey, trying to force a Game 7 back in Carolina. The Hurricanes, what is going on right now? Curtis Lazar having a game of his life for the Hurricane, or for the Devils, my bad, as New Jersey will go to a Game 7 with the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, this is one of 2 Game 7s. Here we go. First period, a 3-1 lead for Colorado. Makar, Girard, and Drouin. Second period, still a 3-1 advantage as the Dallas Stars put themselves in a hole. They're on home ice. They cannot show up, and they're down 3-1 right now to Colorado. What can they do? 10 minutes remaining here in the third period. Power play for the Avs. They don't get anything on it. 5 minutes to go. Colorado, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel as they are going to defeat Dallas in Game 7 of the very first round. And now for the final game of round number 1. Here we go. First period, 1-0 lead to Carolina. Jordan Staal, of all people. I mean, he is their captain. Second period, New Jersey ties it up. Jesper Bratt, he had that overtime winner, I believe, in Game 4 or Game 5, one of those 2 games. And right now, we're at a standstill, but Jankowski will score on Jacob Markstrom. 2 goals on 28 shots. Carolina mostly has dominated the play thus far in this series, but Markstrom has played absolutely magnificent, and Logan Stankoven will add to the lead, as well as Taylor Hall. And Carolina, they are off to the second round. And here we go. We now move on to the second round. We got LA versus Minnesota, Winnipeg and Colorado, Washington versus Carolina, and then Toronto versus Tampa. The Wild right now are 1 win away from the conference finals, up 3-0 over LA, up 2-1 here in the game after the first period. Second period, they are going to lead 4-2. They're getting heavily outshot 28-20, but okay, wait a minute. Kuzmenko makes it a 1-goal game every single series so far, and there it is. Alex Turcotte ties things up on Philip Gustafsson, but Freddie Gaudreau on Darcy Kemper will give the Wild the lead yet again. 5 minutes remaining in the third period. Can Minnesota hold on? Can Philip Gustafsson do his job? And there we go. The Wild are the first team off to the conference finals. As I said before, these series have not really been close. Winnipeg's up 3-0 in theirs as well against Colorado, though it is a 2-2 tie entering the third period of game number 4 in Colorado. Obviously, the Avalanche season is on the line. They're going to need a goal on playoff Hellebuck right now. But Kyle Connor on Mackenzie Blackwood giving Winnipeg the lead with 10 minutes to spare here in the third period. And Colorado will tie things up. Drury on Hellebuck. 5 hard miles left in regulation. Will we have overtime on our hands here in round number 2? Here we are in overtime. McKinnon straight away. Oh my God, it's over. Nathan McKinnon will save the Avalanche season. It literally ended before it could even begun as the Colorado Avalanche win their first game in this series. Surprisingly enough, Toronto has not lost a single game in the playoffs yet. They're up 3-0 in the first period of Game 4 against Tampa. Second period, 7-4 hockey game. Holy goals, Batman. I mean, it's only a 3-goal affair. Shots are 32-21 for the Tampa Bay Lightning, although somehow they're going to be down 3 goals in this game as Andrei Vasilevsky pretty much just took this game off and pretty much every other game in the series, as Toronto might sweep the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Less than a minute remaining of potentially seeing the Maple Frauds go to the conference finals. They're on home ice as well. Oh my lord. Kucherov gets absolutely laid out by McCabe. Toronto has yet to lose a single playoff game. Going to sweep Tampa Bay. They swept Ottawa in the first round, and they are looking primed for a Stanley Cup final run. Nikita Kucherov up to Cirelli. Cirelli shooting, no shot to be had. Solars has been, he's been decent. 4 goals on 39 shots isn't horrible. Marner's going to get it into the zone, though. Less than 30 seconds to go. Matthews ripping one right off the shin pads of Nikita Kucherov, and Darren Radish is going to head to the sin bin. 26.8 seconds to spare here in game number 4. Back-to-back sweeps. I don't think that's ever happened for the Maple Frauds. Max Domi to Ekman Larson. They're going to have a power play for the remainder of this game. Nicholas Robertson, second of the night. Didn't need the goal, but they definitely will have one. as that is pretty much going to seal the deal on this game. Toronto, what is going on? And somehow, some way, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they are off to the conference finals as undefeated so far throughout their playoff run. Winnipeg up 3-1 in their series over Colorado. I believe it was Nathan McKinnon that actually saved Avalanche's season, but right now it is a 2-0 lead for the Jets thanks to Pionk and Scheifele strikes yet again. 3-1, Charlie Coyle will get Colorado on the board, but it might be too little too late, man. It is going to be tough coming back from this one. 10 minutes to go in the third period. Playoff Hellebuck trying to shut the door on Colorado. One of the best offenses in the entire NHL. Here we go. In Winnipeg, the whiteout in full effect for game number 5. 56 seconds remaining. 3-1 lead for your Jets as they're trying to go back to the conference finals for the first time since, I believe, 2018 when they played Vegas. And they ended up losing to them. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. Josh Manson moves up to Jonathan Drouin. Empty net for Colorado. Val Nichushkin right off the shin pads there. Pete's up the middle to Makar. Over Val. Rebound. Oh my God. How did he not get a stick on that? Drouin keeps it in off the shin pads yet again. I don't know what's going on with the AI. Cole Perfetti. You got an empty net to shoot at. Perfetti will seal the deal and punch Winnipeg's ticket to the conference finals as they have dominated the Avs in 5 games. This really has been our only competitive series of round 2 between the Caps and the Hurricanes. Washington leading 3-2, 2-0 after the first period. Ovi and Dowd, second period. Okay, we got ourselves a game. It is all knotted up at 3 apiece entering the third period. Shots are 30-25. There it is, Jacob Chikrin. Bands make a dance, baby. 10 hard miles to go. And the Capitals are off to the conference finals yet again. 5 minutes remaining in the third period. Can they hold on? Here we go. In Carolina, they're down by 1 with 41 seconds remaining. Washington trying to hold on, trying to go to the conference finals. Robinson loses that puck, but Chatfield will pick it up. He loses it as well, though. Carolina is not doing great on offense. Roslovic to Chatfield. Rebound is there. Ovi gives it over to Protas. Protas gets buried by Roslovic, though. Alexander Ovechkin, nice breakout pass. 21 seconds to go. Dylan Strome coming into Carolina's end. He's just trying to waste time right now. Never mind. Alexei Protas will snipe it home, and that will seal the deal on this one. I thought they were just killing time, but Protas said, "Hold my beer, Ovi," and he sniped it home with 15 seconds remaining. Speak of the devil, Ovi coming in the zone. Alexander Ovechkin bodied him. Back at you, baby. Over to Dylan Strome. Back to Karlsson. Nice shot on net. More importantly, though, Ovi and the Capitals, they are headed back to the conference finals for the first time since they won the Stanley Cup back in 2018. The final 4 are set. We got Winnipeg and Minnesota, Washington versus Toronto. Who is advancing to the Stanley Cup finals? The Jets leading their series up against Minnesota 3-2. Obviously, the Wild trying to force a Game 7 back in Winnipeg land, and we got a 3-3 tie entering the third period. Never mind, Freddie Gaudreau will score and take the lead on playoff Hellebuck. A 4-3 lead, never mind. Kyle Connor strikes right away, ties the game back up, says everybody composure, calm the hell down. Miller on Philip Gustafson, Colin Miller of all people, with 5 minutes to go here in the third. The Jets are 54 seconds away from potentially going to the Stanley Cup Finals and almost a perfect season thus far. They've been dominant in the regular season. They've been dominant in the postseason. But in Minnesota, they are not going to go away. Mark Scheifele leading the rush, 40 seconds to spare. They honestly just have to kill time right now as Gustafson is forced to make that save. Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews leading the way for scoring as well as William Nylander there. I definitely would not have believed that if you told me that at the beginning of the playoff run, but they have literally been undefeated so far in the playoffs. Well, not in the round number 3, but the first 2 rounds. Matthew Boldy coming in over Zuccarello, and a nice save by Hellebuck right on the doorstep. In the slot, that's going down the length of the ice. Is going to be icing? No icing on the play. All right. Referee says play on. Less than 20 seconds to spare. Minnesota, pull your goalie. There you go. You're going for broke. Empty net for the Wild. Trying to tie this game up. Zuccarello gets slashed by Cole Perfetti. It is going to be 6-on-4 for the final 12 seconds of this game. Unfortunately, oh no, Winnipeg. Oh no, Winnipeg. Y'all are folding right now. Stamberg getting body behind the net. Ryan Hartman Out in front to Gustav Nyquist. Back to the point. Freddie Gaudreau can't do it. And there it is. The Jets are off to the Stanley Cup Finals for the second year in a row. A Canadian team will play for Lord Stanley as they end up defeating Minnesota in 6 games in the Western Conference Finals. The Capitals trying to do the exact same thing against Toronto. They're up 3-2 in their series. A 1-1 tie after one. Dowd and David Kampf. Second period, Toronto will take the lead. None other than Tommy Ake Matthews himself. And then Matthews again on Logan Thompson makes it a 3-1 game. 10 minutes remaining in the third period. Shots are 33-27 for Washington. Toronto trying to force a game 7 back in Washington. Can they do it? Can they hold on? Yes, they will. We will have a game 7 to see if Toronto can put up or shut up. It all comes down to this. Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals. First period, 2-0 lead for Toronto. David Kampf and John Tavares. Second period, okay, Washington cuts it in half thanks to Tom Wilson. We're going to see if they can score in this third period, or will Anthony Stolar shut the door and just continue on the amazing season that he's having. I mean, he literally led all goaltenders in save percentage for the regular season. 5 minutes to go here in the third. Still a 2-1 game for Toronto. Washington, you gotta get a goal. Here we go in the third period. 1 minute remaining. Oh my God, what a bomb from John Tavares. Still a 1-goal game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, trying to hold on, trying to go to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since '67. This would actually, funny enough, this would be Toronto's first ever round 3 playoff win as Stolarz flashes the leather. I'm going to wait a little bit longer to pull the goalie for Washington. The computers don't do that well. Leo Carlsson finding Ovi. Back to Sandin. Blasting one. Stoli with a nice save, though. 35 seconds to spare here in the third period. Sandin can't get anything on it. I think we got to do it. I think we got to pull the goalie. Sandin shooting, and there it is! Oh no, Alexei Protas tips it in, and that will tie the game up here in Game 7. Well, we got ourselves a tie game. Less than 30 seconds to go. We might have Game 7 overtime. This obviously does not favor Toronto whatsoever. Biggest choke artist in the entire league. Carlo loses that puck. That's a brutal pass there. Matt Nyes is all over it, though. Over to Pierre-Luc Dubois just won that puck battle. Up to Tom Wilson. One final rush for the Capitals. Wilson, I don't know who you're passing to there, buddy. John Carlson. Carlson back to the blue line to Sandin. Blasting one, rebound there, and we are off to overtime here in game number 7. Overtime in game number 7. The season that Ovi passed Wayne Gretzky for the most goals all time. He now has an opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. Dylan Strome on this draw against Tommy Ake Matthews. He's going to win it. Ovi walking in, block shot in front. He couldn't get a shot on net there on Stoli. That could have been it. The game could have been over. Alexander Ovechkin could have sent Washington to the Stanley Cup Finals. Marner and Thompson is making save after save. 17:51 left to go here in overtime. Tons of time, and obviously we're going until someone scores. It does not matter. Dylan Strome coming in the zone. Strome waiting. Waiting again. Okay, he's just going to lose it, and it's going to go to the corner. Cool beans. Morgan Riley over to Matt Nyes. The Toronto Maple Leafs get into the zone. Mitch Marner got tossed around like a toddler, man. Strome over to Carlson. Moves it up to Rasmus Sandin. Sandin coming to the zone. Sandin waiting. Firing, and Stoli will make the nice glove save. 14:33 left to go. They win the draw thanks to John Tavares. Riley up to Nylander. William Nylander. Stride Deke over. Tavares gets laid out by the defenseman. Willie, what a save by Thompson. In overtime of game number 7, PLD lose the puck to Willie. Over to Carlo. Finding Bobby McMahon. Bobby McMahon waiting. Losing that puck, though. Here we go. Jacob Chikrin. He's not all alone, but a 2-on-1 morphing. Oh, my God, Jacob Chikrin. How? How do you not capitalize on that? The other way, Tavares coming in. No shot to be had. The computer's incompetence on full display right now. I mean, really, there was a 2-on-1 basically both ways, and neither of them got a shot. Like, that is just disgraceful, EA. Over to John Tavares. He's got no energy, no stamina, no problem. William Nylander losing that puck to TVR. TVR going to body him in the corner, though. Trevor Van Riemsdyk lose it. William Nylander said, F that. I'm getting my get back right now. Cross check for a cross check. Max Domi. Finding the blue line. Domi. Okay, I don't know what Max Domi was doing there. I have no idea what he was thinking. Lars Eller. 7 minutes to spare in the third period. Darren Radish. That is not Dalen Radish. That is Taylor Radish. William Nylander. He is absolutely bagged right now. Over to Holmberg. Losing it. Pontus Holmberg. Picks it up. No shot on net, though. Great defending by the Washington Capitals. Carlson. Over to Lars Eller. Lars Eller waiting. Lars Eller losing it, regaining it maybe. No, Ekman Larson up to Pontus Holmberg. Overtime number 1 is almost finished. Mangiapane getting destroyed. Toronto's forecheck is on another world right now. Carlson moves it over to Radish. Carlson, what a one-timer there. Holy hell, what a save by Stolarz. Benoit lose it to Ovi. Ovi win that puck battle. Oh, Sandin. Oh, no. Oh, no. Max Domi. He's all alone for the win on the breakaway. Domi can't end it. What a save by Logan Thompson. But Matt Nyes will do it. He has punched the Toronto Maple Leafs ticket to the Stanley Cup Finals after a Game 7 overtime winner. Matt Nyes, backdoor feed, and there it is. The Leafs versus the Jets in the Stanley Cup Finals. And here we go, a best-of-7 all-Canadian Stanley Cup Final between Winnipeg and Toronto. Here we go in game number 1. First period, 1-0 lead for Toronto. Second period, 2-0 lead, and they are going to shut out Winnipeg in game 1 of the Cup Finals. We now move on to game number 2. First period, 2-1 lead for Winnipeg. Cole Perfetti has a pair. Second period, okay, the floodgates have opened, and Stolarz is shitting the bed. Here we go. The series had made the switch to Winnipeg for game 3. First period, 2-2 tie. Second period, all right, the Jets are up by 1 in the third period of game 3, but Matt Nyes, remember, he had the game 7 winner, and then Tommy Matthews also giving Toronto the lead here in game 3. What is going on, Winnipeg? Y'all are faltering as hell right now. 9 minutes to spare here in the Stanley Cup Finals, game 3. Will the Maple Leafs take a 2-1 series lead over the Winnipeg Jets? That's exactly what they will do. When you thought he was not going to appear, playoff Hellebuck is in fact here. First period, 2-0 lead for the Jets. Kyle Connor gets a pair. Second period, all right, it is still a 2-0 game entering the third period. Toronto, there you go, Austin Matthews. The floodgates have opened. Hellebuck has been beaten. It's only a 1-goal game now. The Jets on the power play. They do not capitalize, though. That is going to bite them in the behind. 7 minutes remaining in the third period of game number 4. Can the Jets hold on and tie the series up at 2? Please, Winnipeg, we got ourselves a series as it now becomes a best-of-3. Here we go. Game number 5 in Toronto. The series is all knotted up at 2 apiece. It is a 2-1 advantage for the Maple Frauds in the third period. Can they hold on? Can Anthony Stolarz shut the door on this third? It's only a 1-goal lead. Shots are 31-27 for Toronto. 8 minutes to spare in the third period. The Leafs, can they become closer to a Stanley Cup for the first time since 67? Gabe Vilardi ties things up with like 4 minutes remaining. Here we go in Toronto. Game 5 overtime. The Leafs, they had the one in the bag, man. They did. They really had this in the bag, but they sold at the very last minute. Gabe Vilardi of all people. Matthews shooting. Nice save by Hellebuck. Volacek, full forecheck. Should I pull the goalie? Should I pull Toronto's goalie? Nah. I'm going to leave him in his net. I'm not going to rig it. We got less than 18 minutes remaining. Still a lot of time here in overtime for either team to score a goal. Dixie D'Amelio up to Josh Morrissey. Kyle Connor leading the rush for Winnipeg. I need somebody to get a game winner right now. Kyle Connor trying to be fancy, trying to deke his way to a goal, but I mean, you might be that guy. I was going to say you're not that guy, but you might indeed be that guy. Scheifele on the rebound. Scheifele again, but Stolarz will make the save. Stolarz, where are you going? Morgan Riley. He's going to skate that puck up and get body. Matt Nyes to Mitch Marner, losing the puck. Very sloppy hockey right now in overtime. Kyle Connor trying to make his way in. It is turnover after turnover. Both teams are not playing smart hockey. Nyes finding Brendan Carlo. Brendan Carlo blasting one, and there it is. Brendan Carlo's second of the playoff run, and Toronto goes up 3-2 in the series, headed to Winnipeg with the Stanley Cup in the building. Game 6 in Winnipeg, Stanley Cup in the building, Toronto up 3-2. First period, 2-1 lead for the Jets. Kyle Connor has a pair. Matt Nyes got one for Toronto. Second period, all right, Winnipeg, Brandon Tanev will extend the lead for Winnipeg. Third period time now. Can the Jets lock it down, and can playoff Hellebuck not absolutely choke away a 2-goal lead in the third? Shots are 35-34, so it's pretty even. 7 minutes to go. Toronto on the power play. They don't get anything on it, though. 4 minutes remaining. Are we going to have a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals? We will. For back-to-back seasons, It will be a winner-take-all, one-game elimination for all the marbles. It all comes down to this. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. First period, 2-0 lead for Toronto. Matthews and McCabe. Second period, 3-1 advantage. Entering the third period, Barron will score to make it a one-goal game, though. They are not out of it yet. The Jets are definitely not gone. We got ourselves a hockey game right now. They tie it up. Alex Iafallo on Anthony Stolarz. 9 minutes remaining in the third period of Game 7. Toronto and Winnipeg deadlocked at even. 3-3 hockey game, 3 minutes to spare. Are we going to have overtime? It all comes down to this. It was only fitting that at the end of the video, it is one goal that we are going to react to. We are going to witness a Stanley Cup winning goal here in Game 7. Gabe Vilardi coming in the zone. I'm just praying it doesn't go on for too long. Austin Tomiak Matthews, definitely an up and down playoff run. Matthews coming in the zone, finding Marner. Marner shooting. Hellebuck's going to make the save, though. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they are oh so close. This is literally the closest they've ever been to a cup. They've never won a third-round playoff series, let alone a fourth round. Josh Morrissey moves up to Mark Scheifele. Winnipeg doesn't have a cup in their franchise's history, and Toronto basically doesn't have one either. Over Vilardi, right down Main Street, and Stolarz makes the save. Connor to Scheifele. Mark Scheifele again. Stolarz flashing the leather. Offensive zone draw. Winnipeg loses it, though. Morgan Riley, delayed penalty. Uh-oh. Toronto's headed to the power play. Bobby McMahon leading the rush. McMahon to Nylander, to Tavares on a floaty little backhander. I don't know why he would do that. Nylander in the corner. Down low to McMahon. Out to Brendan Carlo. Back to the blue line to McCabe. To Marner. Bombs away, and they're off to the PP. The referees just could not put away their whistle. Why do they have power play number 2 out there? Like, seriously, EA. This is why we can't take your game seriously. Mason Appleton going to lead the rush in the PK for Winnipeg. Appleton coming in. Appleton shooting. Stolarz is forced to cover it up. You got to get the first-line power play out there for Toronto. They absolutely should have been out there. I don't know why they were not. Matthews coming back to get the puck. He's got no energy. Maybe that's the reason they weren't out there. Winnipeg, though, killed off the penalty pretty easily. Toronto didn't get a good chance of that. Vilardi trying to go 5-hole on Stolarz, and it won't go. 10-11 left to go here in overtime. Game 7. All it takes is one shot, man. That is all it's going to take. Sandberg getting bodied at the red line. Neil Pionk picks it up, though. He just got paid today, I believe. Neil Pionk got a contract extension camp. Over to Scott Laughton. Scott Laughton coming in the zone. Why does Toronto... Oh, my God. Everybody is gassed on the Maple Leafs right now. Quite literally, everybody is gassed the other way. Mark Scheifele coming in. He losing the puck, though. Morgan Riley loses it, though. 2-on-1 the other way. Vilardi. Scheifele shooting. No shot to be had. No way he didn't get a single shot on net there. Nicholas Robertson moves over to Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg coming in the zone. Over to Robertson. Beyond the net, getting board played. Toronto, I don't think they have a shot in this third period. Maybe one shot. Robertson back to the blue line. Tanev finding McCabe. Block shot in front by Winnipeg, though. 4 minutes and 35 seconds remain. Mark Scheifele finding Morrissey to Connor, and there it is! Kyle Connor will seal the deal. A Stanley Cup winner for the Winnipeg Jets as they are going to defeat Toronto in Game 7. And in classic Maple Leaf fashion, when the lights are the brightest, when it matters the most, their best players are nowhere to be found. And they fold like sandpaper, man. God damn, Toronto. Game 7 on home ice in overtime. It doesn't get any more heartbreaking than that. Mark Scheifele is going to go ahead and win the Conn Smythe with only 3 goals, but he had 26 points and I guess a very good defensive effort as he was the playoff MVP for the Winnipeg Jets. And there it is, Lord Stanley. I guess on the bright side, Toronto fans, y'all have showed up to the arena, probably cost you an arm and a leg for this game. And you're going to see the Stanley Cup being presented, not to Toronto, unfortunately, as the Winnipeg Jets are going to go all the way and win the Stanley Cup. I mean, I got to let it play. I have to let it play, and I have to give Winnipeg the respect. They got it done when I didn't believe in them. Surprisingly, Tomiak Matthews actually went on a tear in the playoffs. 19 goals and 35 points in only 22 games. Mitch Marner had 34. Nylander with 29. Scheifele had 26. Kyle Connor was good. Matt Nyes I mean, had the biggest goal in probably Toronto Maple Leaf history. Goaltending-wise, Hellebuck had a .921 throughout the entire playoff run, so he was lights out, 16-4-2 record, 1 shutout. Stolarz was really, really good. 3 shutouts with a .920, or I should say he had 3 shutouts, 15 victories, only 1 away from winning the Stanley Cup. He was not the issue with the Toronto Maple Leafs in this playoff run. Well, that is going to do it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.